Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to explore Make Time. Make Time is a very friendly framework to help you focus on what matters most in life. So if you find yourself really busy or distracted or just frazzled by kind of the pace of the modern age, then I think this video is going to be perfect for you. Before we dive in, I just wanted to say a quick welcome back to my channel. My name is Connor, and I'm a teacher, a writer, and an entrepreneur. And on this channel, we explore different ways that you can bring more focus and intention to the ways that you live and work. Now, I'm also a Make Time facilitator. I first came across this framework when I was working at Google, and I met Jake and John, the authors, and I teach this to companies across the world. It's a wonderful framework. It makes a huge difference in my day today. So I'm really excited to unpack it and share it a bit more with all of you. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to start by exploring where Make Time came from, sort of its origin stories from within Google and Google Ventures, and a bit more about the background of the authors. Then we're gonna unpack the 4-step framework, which is highlight, laser, energize, and reflect. Explain to you what each of those steps really means and how you can use it. And finally, we're gonna end with a little bonus challenge, because I'm a big believer that putting things into practice is really where you learn. So if you stick around to the end, I'm gonna give you a challenge that you can use starting today to start making time for what matters most to you. All right, so where did this framework come from? Well, the book was written by Jake Knapp and Jay-Z. No, not that Jay-Z, but John Zeratsky. Who are these guys? Well, they were product designers at Google. They worked on products like YouTube and Gmail. And I actually met them when we worked together within Google Ventures, where Jake and John were the design partners. So what's the Make Time story? Well, to be honest, to go into all the reasons and explain exactly where this framework came from, it would take me probably an hour. So I want to just summarize it and give it to you in 2 minutes. And I want to talk about 2 big reasons that Make Time exists. One is the problems with productivity, and 2 is the design sprint. So what's the problem with productivity? Well, Jake and John at the time were getting super obsessed with how they could be as efficient and as productive as possible. If you're watching this video, you've probably been there too, right? You're trying to figure out how you can get faster at managing your email and using technology to optimize your day. And there's some great advice out there. Jake and John talk about using systems like David Allen's Getting Things Done, and Jake was even teaching a course on sort of inbox zero and email management at Google. But there was a problem. Maybe you've experienced it too, is that when we focus so much on efficiency and productivity, it leaves us feeling kind of unfulfilled. And on top of that, Jake and John both realized they were getting really good at responding and reacting to the world around them, but it didn't necessarily mean they were spending time on the things that really mattered to them. And the second reason worth touching on relates to the design sprint. So the design sprint is sort of a 5-day process that teams use to come together and solve big and important challenges. Jake and John did like 150 of these with portfolio companies when they were running the design team at Google Ventures. And they were learning a lot about how to manage and redesign time and to get people to focus more and manage their energy. But there's a problem with the design sprint, right? It takes an entire team getting together and 5 full days. And most teams in big companies don't have time to do that often. So they started to ask themselves, what if we can use what we've learned from the design sprint to develop a daily system to focus on what matters and maintain our energy. So let's discuss the 4 steps that make up the Make Time framework. First is highlight, second, laser, third, energize, and fourth, reflect. What I love about Make Time is that Jake and Jay-Z have put 87 different tactics in this book. Yes, 87. And the tactics are like little recipes that you can use to apply the 4-step framework. So there are tactics to help you use the highlight. There are tons of tactics to help you get into laser mode, tactics to energize, and tactics to reflect. This makes it really easy and fun to try it out in your own life and to see what works best for you. Now, what is a highlight? I think of a highlight as sort of the one big thing each day you want to bring your best energy and attention to. It's that thing that you really want to protect in your day. Now, why it's so important is that most of us approach our days with a to-do list that's a mile long, right? And we just feel, even if we get a bunch of stuff done at the end of the day, like we didn't quite do enough. That's kind of the productivity and efficiency mindset that gets to us. The highlight kind of flips that on its head, and it says, instead of worrying about doing a million things in a day, to start with prioritizing and focusing on one thing, your biggest, most important thing. Now, we like to say a highlight should be around 60 to 90 minutes. We think that anything longer than 90 minutes, it's unrealistic for most people in most schedules. Plus, research shows your energy and attention start to fade. And about 60 minutes is sort of the minimum, because anything less than that, and you don't get that sense of satisfaction from completing it, which we think is really important. And you can choose your highlight in a variety of ways. We're gonna touch on that in my next video, which is gonna kind of unpack the highlight. But for now, what you need to remember is, instead of worrying about doing a million things in a day, choose one big thing to prioritize. That's the essence of the highlight. The second step of the Make Time framework is laser. Now, once you've chosen your highlight in step one, you're sitting down to work on that most important thing, it's important that you avoid becoming distracted, because we're all guilty of doing that. So laser are tactics that help you to get into sort of a laser mode of focus, right? You can think about it as sort of a laser beam shining directly onto your highlight. A lot of the laser tactics have to do with resetting your defaults around technology. One of my favorite laser tactics is called the distraction-free phone. The distraction-free phone is about resetting the defaults on your smartphone and actually taking a hard look at some of those apps that we might use and love, but might be taking up more time than we're used to. Things like social media and the news. Now, Jake has been operating with the distraction-free iPhone for many years, and Jay-Z with a distraction-free Android, meaning they don't have social media, they don't have news, they don't even have email on their phones. And guess what? I've been doing it too for the last 3 years, and it's made a huge difference in terms of the presence I have with other people, and I've just gained a lot of time back in my life. If you tend to lose a lot of time sucked up into the different apps and whatever else you've got on your phone, then check it out and see if you can start getting a little more focus and time back by trying out the distraction-free phone. The third step of the Make Time framework is Energize. They say this is kind of the secret sauce of the Make Time system. Now, why is that? It's because a lot of the books you read about things like time management or goal setting, they have a lot of good advice that relates to using your head, right? Most of us are spending most of our days working with our brains, right? We're working in the knowledge economy. The problem is we tend to discount how important it is to take care of our body. I like to think that a lot of this advice in the Energize section is common sense, but it's just not common practice. And so they give you a ton of tactics to help you start energizing your body so your brain can perform at an optimal level. Now, they break the Energize section into sort of 6 different building blocks. We're gonna dive into those building blocks in a future video and talk more about some of the Energize tactics that I really love. But one that you can try out right away is just going for a walk without your headphones. It's called Leave Your Headphones at Home, and it's something that all of us can really benefit from. And the final step of the Make Time framework is reflect. Now, reflect is really important because Make Time is not a one-size-fits-all approach, right? There's the 4-step framework and then these 87 tactics. But like I said, it's a cookbook with all these different recipes. So you want to try out the ones that work for you. So reflect is a simple process that is practiced every day. They have a really handy worksheet. It's in the back of the book and also available on maketime.blog. Plus, they've just launched a new Make Time app, which is totally free. You can download it on Android or iOS. And that will allow you to access the Reflect worksheet. And it's very, very easy. All you do is at the beginning of the day, you write down what your highlight is. That's pretty much it. Then at the end of the day, you take 2 or 3 minutes and you reflect on how was your focus? That's laser. How was your energy? That's your Energize tactics. And then you can journal a little bit on tactics you tried, did they work, and what are you gonna do tomorrow? And the importance of this, even though it seems small, is that it helps you refine and personalize the system so that it works in your life. All right, and last but certainly not least, a little bonus challenge. The core idea of Make Time is the highlight, right? This is one big thing that you want to prioritize every day. So the bonus challenge is to pick and do your very first highlight today or at the very latest tomorrow. So take a moment right now and just ask yourself, what is something that maybe I've been putting off or I just haven't been spending enough time on it? Think about that for a second and then write that down somewhere. That's the first step of Make Time. Write that highlight down. My bonus challenge for you is to schedule 60 minutes to work on that highlight. You might not complete the entire thing in one go. It's about bringing your best energy and attention to that project, that task, whatever it is. So that's the bonus challenge for today. Write down your first highlight, schedule 60 minutes, give it a go. And if you have success doing that with any questions, please leave them in the comments. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.